Professor Haran, can you just introduce who you are and from which university you are?
Okay, I'm professor of comparative politics, and I work at the university which is called Kyiv Mohyla Academy, which was founded in 1615, but then was closed by Russian Empire and reopened only in 1991.
Can we discuss the latest incursion in Russia? What is the strategic thinking behind it?
Well, I think there's not much comments basically from Ukrainian officials or commanders. They say something, but the feeling from experts, what we have, because it's widely commented on Ukrainian TV. First of all, I think that I would single three reasons. First one is changing the narrative, because during last year Ukraine was in defense and Russians continued the offensive. It wasn't as good as they expected, but they're moving slowly. They're sending their soldiers just to die, and this is their tactics. Send more and more people to die, and it gives them possibility to move forward, though not as quickly as they expected. So you see, if we provide. So that's why we need some changing in the narratives and understanding of what's going on. And this quick, sudden operation actually showed that Ukrainians can have victory. Okay, so we can incurse into Russian territory. We do not pretend to seize this territory. We don't need these Russian territories. We don't need to seize a Kursk nuclear power station like Putin did with Chernobyl and Zaporizhzhia nuclear plants in Ukraine, and Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant still under Russian occupation. But we want to show that Ukraine can have victories. We showed it in 2022, but 2023 was really difficult for us because of the lack of Western supply and because of Russian tactics, having more and more people. So and you see, so now the narrative somehow changed, because everybody's talking about that, that Russia cannot close its borders. It's definitely a blow to Putin's image. So in this sense, we may say that this aim is, for the time being, fulfilled. We don't know what would happen. Maybe there would be, Russian counterattack. They will have so many reserves, so many ammunition, that it will change the situation. But for the time being, we are there. So, narrative. This is the first. The second is military. As I have mentioned before, so Russians have only one tactic, more and more people, Russian soldiers, to die. So if we are engaged in symmetric response, then we will lose, because first of all, we are smaller. Second, we appreciate human life, soldiers' life, because we are democracy. It's not a dictatorship as in Russia. So that's why we need asymmetrical responses. For example, one of the examples was, the attacks of Ukrainian drones to different air bases in Russia proper, even close to the north of Russia. So, and these attacks were successful, definitely. what we see in Kursk is also kind of asymmetrical response. So from military point of view, I think the idea of Ukrainian commanders is to divert Russian reserves, divert Russian forces from Eastern Front, from Donbass, so to Kursk. We don't know how it happens. Again, now Russians are supplying reserves to Kursk, but as far as I understand, not from Donbass. But anyway, it diverts Russian attention from Donbass, which is the main problem for Ukrainians at this point. So there is a military component here. Again, it's very difficult to predict. I am not, over optimistic. I do not want to see the situation with rose glasses. So this is war. Everything may happen. But for the time being, we see that these two reasons, they seem to work. Finally, the third reason is that, and this is discussed by Western experts, first of all, because the West thinks that at some point there would be a negotiations with Russia. Again, it's very difficult to predict because Russia sticks to the point that all the occupied territories of Ukraine are part of Russia, according to Russian constitution, which is crazy, but that's how they assess the situation. And Putin is saying, okay, I'm ready for negotiations, but you need to accept my occupation and annexation. And people around Putin, they continue to talk about changing the government in Kyiv, denazification of Ukraine, crazy term, because there are no Nazi in Ukraine. Again, we are democracy. Russia is dictatorship. Russia looks more likely like Nazi Germany. But these people are talking about it. They would like to transform Ukraine into the puppet of Russia. So it's difficult for me to predict, when we will have negotiations and how it will start. But definitely, if we have negotiations, it's better to have it from better positions, from position of force. So we are trying to change this dynamics. Whether it happens, how it will happen, how it will evolve, I would not take a risk, to predict. Again, because this is a war. And but Putin would like to continue this war of attrition. And we need to have asymmetrical responses to that. Perhaps what was done in Kursk region is part of that.
So do you think this will continue, or will they withdraw at some stage, thinking that we have achieved what we wanted?
Well, it's difficult. Again, it's very, very difficult to predict. We'll see. It depends. It depends on correlation of military forces. It depends on the kind of how much resources may be mobilized by Russia to use in Kursk region. So again, I cannot guarantee, but so far, we are controlling this part of region, and in any case, we show that, we can have an operation inside Russia, a large operation, because there were raids before, but and this time, it's quite a lot of Russian territory which is taken by Ukraine.
Professor Haran, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much again.